just waiting, but you good? Okay. All right, so let's call the meeting to order, Finance Committee, Thursday, May 16th, 2019 at 6:15. Okay, so Laura and I just met with the interim town administrator and Phyllis, the accountant, to just make sure that we had the right revenue numbers and the right, not the right expenditures, because we're gonna vote on that and talk about that next, but the changes we did make were, I'm gonna go down the revenue side. So one of the changes we did make on our sheet had to do with solid waste, so we increased that.
Can we
Yep.
still look at the one that we handed out the other day?
You can, and then you can write on it
Okay.
that I
The one
updated.
from the other day was the 5710, right? This is the most recent.
Nope,
Well, the most recent that I
no,
have.
because you should have negative, you should,
I don't think you printed. I
that.
don't think I ever got that printed.
I know, I thought I brought that the other night.
This was the one we got the other night, right?
This one?
Yeah, May 14th.
Yeah, but it should be this.
Yeah, the last one we got was just Monday night,
Oh,
May
sorry.
14th.
So, no, we're totally in the other direction than that. All
Get your
right,
red pen out, oh, but yeah, pink.
Actually,
so, basically, local receipts. So after talking with those folks tonight, for the local receipts, we're changing that number because they feel that they can collect more money in. So I had that on my sheet already, not this sheet, but the one I had like at work. So that number on the local receipts is gonna change to 2955. I'm sorry, you have it now, sorry.
2954770. With a mouthful of crackers.
I wanna look at that because why did I have it as so high?
You didn't.
On the,
You had 279. Plus, you had 279 plus 30, and then that's 279 plus 165.
all right. And then we still have the water receipts, that's fine. So the solid waste, after a meeting with the head of DPW today, they also came to the conclusion that they need to add in, they have to take more free cash to budget for the solid waste. So that is going to be 200 instead of 100. So you want to
The
put
reserve for appropriation.
here, actually, I made this, you probably want to see this. So I made this line, I thought I had brought this, but I guess I didn't. I made it yesterday. Hence, I didn't, made a whole new thing, but I left it on my desk at work, sorry. So it's a whole new line I made it here, less free cash used for solid waste, so that's gonna be negative 200.
Okay.
All right. And then down below, though, it's gonna be a wash because solid waste reserve for appropriation is gonna be 200,
Okay.
which you have, so.
Instead of 100.
Yeah, so it's gonna be there. So before, it was over here, you wanna take out the other deficit on the expense
that
side?
out altogether.
Take that out altogether. Then what you're gonna do is I added another, like I said, I added another line, less free cash used for solid waste of the
Okay.
200,000.
And that's negative, okay.
Yep, and then the one below though is gonna be positive, which is your solid waste reserve for appropriation,
200,000.
too. Yep, so that's how that is.
What's the current state aid number that we have?
The state aid number is 12,
Yeah,
146, 164.
thank you, sorry.
Yep, no, that's fine, I was gonna get to that too. I forgot it changed slightly from that number.
Yeah, I knew it was
because,
small, but I
Senate
just
Ways and Means,
wanted
it was
to-
like $4,000, $6,000, something, I don't know.
4,500-ish.
So other than that, all the numbers are good, except for we just need to talk about our appropriations. So
What does that give us for a total revenue number?
she has that, she being Laura.
52,345,568.
So this 242 is completely gone.
Gone.
The 242 is completely gone?
Yep. Because that's free cash and you can't use it
Right.
for your one-time spending. I had put it in there. We can discuss that later.
It's okay, just.
Makes no difference why I thought it was there or not. So once we do that, we're equal on that side, but unfortunately, it brings us to a significant deficit. So we need to figure out certain things. So basically, what Laura's been working on is what we did Tuesday night, which was to put in the right DPW, Council on Aging, Library, and the Selectmen, that budget. All right? So she put all those numbers in. So those numbers, what do you have for a total on the expense side?
It's a long sheet.
I guess asking that, before we go further with that, what do you have for? I had it here. This one's bottom. Need that. Total appropriations. But I guess I'm wondering, like, on your
So-
FY20 department requests?
So FY 20 department requests all in 50,843,322.
Yeah.
322.
Yep, that makes sense, okay. So basically, we're off, still the negative 132.
And 132,904, so 133 almost.
So
Okay.
all these other, this, capital stabilization fund, tax title, snow and ice, and
Yep.
overlay, nothing changed
Nope,
there.
that's all the same. So we are in a point right now where,
But that's with everyone's,
All
real
real
needs.
needs
right.
Okay.
that's a complete real needs, right? What we have, all right. So what we need to talk about, and then, I guess, create and vote total by the department is what we have open by department, and if there's any discussion on it, and what we choose to do with that, basically. So I think okay, I just need to write this number down. Hold on one second. So I think what we should do is continue with the conversation from Tuesday night. Do we want to go by department, where we are pretty familiar right now with the selectmen, and vote that?
Do you want to talk about how much of a stretch we need to get to balance, given that we have still some revenue numbers being looked at?
Well, basically, there's revenue numbers that they're constantly looking at, and there's a few items that they are looking at that they hopefully will get to us by next week. So some of these numbers have the potential to change. However, we're gonna keep going and give our best numbers, and then they are going to look at those numbers and analyze their data again to see if they can release more money or not. For example, like new growth. Is this number the correct estimate? They're gonna relook at that for new growth for the year to see where they are for that. So that may rise a little bit. We don't know. So there's some things there, but in total, we still need to really vote by department of where we need to be on our best, I guess, number for now.
So can I ask
Now.
a question?
Yep, wait a minute, I
If-
just
oh,
want to say
sorry.
one thing. So we're gonna vote tonight, and then if we have to make additional, we will. Additional cuts, or what have
Okay,
you.
so what we vote right now doesn't.
So they're gonna take our numbers that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And Laura is going to give the spreadsheet to Rebecca for them to put in their numbers. And then they are gonna look at the numbers, and those are what is going to go for, Rocco's creating that presentation that I forwarded to everyone today. So they'll go, then those numbers from that sheet will go in there, so.
And that the numbers that we vote on tonight will be what's voted on the warrant on Monday, and we'd make a change after the warrant?
So we could vote right now and not have a balanced budget.
We're going to,
Right.
because,
Because this side's not.
There,
final.
there's a level, I think,
Right.
of confidence that if we can get the
Yes.
best numbers we can, and we kind of roughly know what we
Right.
think we're, based on our meeting the other night, that the relook will hopefully cover
be able to
that.
cover.
There is a chance that they will come back and say, no, and then we may have to go revote a new
Right.
department line.
Well, right, and
Might
the
have to
thing
make those
is,
changes.
nothing's really final right now until, as Laura said, we're gonna do our best numbers tonight while making educated decisions. And then we're going to give we're gonna give the spreadsheet back to them. They're gonna relook and see, okay, can we come up with more revenue? We're still at a back and forth right now,
But we're at a very close. I
but
think
we're very close
I think,
to
is-
where we need to be.
So Jan, to your point and your angst, because I just spent the last hour verbalizing that same angst, I think. So I was very concerned from that structural perspective of the voting and the warrant and all of that. I don't think the warrant is gonna be, the warrant is gonna be like finalized until, I think what they say, 14 days before town meeting.
Right, well, so there's two things. So
Sooner the
Monday is a
better.
pre-town meeting, and that's just gonna go over the warrant, whatever numbers we have, however numbers can change between now and that 14 days before being posted.
The hope is they won't.
The hope is, right, that they won't, and that we'll be where we are.
And if our numbers, the numbers that we're voting on tonight need to change, we would reconvene and vote on those?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely. We would reconvene and do that.
okay.
As a matter of fact, before we go, do we need a meeting for Tuesday night? I did not post one.
I would, unless they have numbers to change for us.
I would say
No.
no.
Good.
Let's-
That was my
let's-
feeling.
Let's go with no for the moment.
Take the week off, just no,
Oh, we have to go Monday.
because we have to go Monday, so we're not.
So Monday is
yeah.
our meeting. And I mean, and if stuff comes out of Monday, we'll just have
We can
to,
do it the following week. It's not gonna, that's not gonna make a
Oh, do we-
difference.
So we'll meet the week before town meeting?
we shouldn't have to.
We shouldn't have
The
to.
hope is we won't have to.
Yeah.
Because I thought we weren't.
Yeah, no,
So, okay.
no worries. Well, we can pick a different night.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Any other night works.
So, just because there's 5 of us.
Yeah. No, any other night works.
Yeah.
Um,
But hopefully we won't have to.
I had a question about
Mhm.
transfers
We-
and,
The transfers,
well, it's more of a general question, so I know we have to vote, I think, on transfers, but. do
right,
we
but
ever
that's
s-
Monday night because those numbers are a done deal. So we are gonna vote on that Monday night.
Is there ever, like,
sign.
do we ever see those earlier in the budget process to give us questions to ask the
So actually,
departments?
I asked a question, and we don't technically have to vote the Monday night, because that
Yeah.
was my concern,
Yeah.
like, what if I
We
have
can or we
questions?
can't. He
Right.
said,
Well, the way I'm looking at it is if, like, so if, say, someone's department
get some answers, though.
has, like, if they're transferring from one line item, that means they didn't spend that line item.
right,
That would then be like, okay, so how did you
Well-
budget that for next year?
Yep.
Did,
yeah.
you know, was it a really
I don't
an off
think-
year or?
Well, in this case this year, we have issues where we need to pay people.
Oh, yeah.
So when they did the transfers, they relooked at budgets and what was available. But some of them are just interdepartment transfers from line item to
Right.
line item, due to personnel being out but need to cover.
right.
Like,
and those,
so it goes from salary to comp, additional comp. So that's
Right,
what
that
happened with
wouldn't-
fire department. The other one, the fire department talked to us about,
But, like,
some of
some-
these items that are
just, like,
pretty
something
short.
like that, like.
Well, these are,
You know, I know
so-
these are different, but just along that
well,
line of
this is a
thinking.
wash within department.
Right, but
So-
do they need that money in their budget next year? It would be my question. Like, was this just severely over budgeted this year?
I see what you're
Was
saying.
there a reason,
I mean,
or-
I think we certainly can ask that question.
Obviously, it's like too
The
late
other thing
now, but
is
just-
it just being carved out? And then what was it was supposed to be used for isn't now.
Right. Could be.
But yes, a very good question that we can go back and ask. I have no problem with
Yeah.
that.
No, I was just curious if
Yeah,
like we
so
ever see
these
them with
transfers, we don't
time.
get ahead of time.
Right, we
if
don't
that's
see
what-
those.
So the warrant, yeah, we got the
Special
warrant.
town meeting,
Yeah, we got like 3+ weeks ahead of time last year, cause I had pulled up the minutes and went through.
Oh, really?
That's why I was so
yeah,
concerned.
but, yeah, no, I guess,
Transfers, we
I thought,
typically don't.
You
right,
don't
the
get those.
transfers you don't, but,
Sometimes we can get them a week ahead, but,
yeah. Normally,
but the warrants, we should.
it varies though.
Okay.
It's just when,
Just a question.
yeah, I mean, they've been working on them for a while, so I really don't know how far in advance
Right.
they got the money. I think this year, I mean, or the numbers, I think this year is a little unique because of,
think it's
turnover
just-
Right, yeah.
or transition.
Nothing
as-
is normal
sounds
this
better,
year,
I
I think,
guess.
I think is the takeaway.
Yeah,
Absolutely nothing.
a transition. So, fire department. So do you wanna, Laura, since you have it in
Yep.
front of you? 'Cause, you know, I do.
So as we go through each of these, we're gonna discuss the department requests, see what questions we have, and then is the 132,904 the magic number?
Yes.
We need to cut, okay.
Yeah. Yes,
No. Because they're gonna come back, we're gonna do our best cuts, and then they're gonna come back with another number to hopefully cover the difference.
So,
but 132 is the magic
It's the
number, right
But
number?
we don't necessarily have to cut 132.
Well, yes and no, we really do, but, and we're hoping they can cover. You know what I mean? Like, we have to get to our best,
Right.
I guess.
But our best doesn't have to because they're gonna come up with a new revenue number.
Well, agreed, but, yeah, that's fine. But 132 is the magic number that we're off,
Okay.
and that needs to be to zero. Maybe not necessarily tonight.
Not
So
all in
maybe not through
expenses.
expense reduction, it could be
Right, it
through
could be
increased
some, with
revenue.
some of the revenue that they are gonna go and do a look back over.
Gotcha.
Yep. All right, so
Just gonna take my Xanax pill now.
Well,
I had to take mine earlier.
any, I mean, this is our meeting, so any input is, say what you want.
Oh, no, it's just uncomfortable to be like, okay, it's maybe this, maybe, like, I feel like we should
right, because
have.
there are certain line items I would think differently about depending on whether we need to get this to zero or we don't, kinda.
Right.
I guess.
So based
For
on,
the record,
so-
I'd rather have the full revenue numbers when we're voting as a body, which I'm sure everyone else.
Agreed.
absolutely, and that
Agreed,
was,
but I think they're in a position right now where they're still working some things out there.
but I asked the question, and with the general thought that we had the other night of when we went through and we had kind of, without doing any votes, we kind of had that general discussion, you know, if we got it down to X, there was some confidence that that would be covered. That there was some confidence that that number could be increased to cover that. And I agree 100%. And I express that too. I don't have that
I
comfort
have my
level
own
with this
opinion that I
process.
think we can get to the 132. People won't like it, but that's just my feeling.
So we don't have to go, well, I don't know how we wanna, I'll just, I guess, read every section and we can just, like, the ones that aren't an issue, we'll just blow over real quick, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should just do it by department, and then, if there's any discussions, people who are the liaison should be able to speak to what numbers are.
I'm gonna go off the warrant spreadsheet, so it might not be subgroup.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just because that's the working document,
Yeah,
and I don't wanna have to try and recreate anything again. Okay, so, we're just doing discussions, we're not doing votes right now, just discussions? Okay.
it's both.
Oh, we're doing both?
Discussion, and then at the end, don't you think?
Well, we have to. Okay. So then
Or
I
you
guess
think we
that,
should vote the department at the,
yeah,
after the
so does that
discussion?
change my line item? Okay, so like town moderator, that's like lumped in technically, but we don't have to do anything with it. I'm just trying to think of just structurally how,
I guess I was just thinking even this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't wanna
That-
go down through town moderator well, it's on here, but
okay, so if I use that sheet,
don't you think it'd be quicker?
yeah, okay, that's fine, I can use that
The other one's
sheet.
1,500 line items.
I know. The details on that sheet, so that I just gotta be careful, so I'll toggle between, that's fine, okay. So we're basically just I'm gonna start at the top of that sheet then, okay. So again, it's a little different. So we're basically, everything we're talking about is FY20 real needs department requests. So employee benefits,
We don't even vote on that because, well, it's
it
part of
is
the
part of
treasure.
the budget, yeah. So again, if we're gonna do it this way, we're doing it in different
Yeah, and that's
categories.
different. We want all the treasurer to be together. I guess you could just scroll by category and just do it what your original was.
Off the warrant
Yeah,
spreadsheet.
because I think you're gonna,
All right,
but I don't remember voting on town moderator.
no, so we probably,
Is that
We
in,
only
like,
voted
the
on departments that we
selectmen's budget or
Had
something?
liaisons, that's not really a department.
Does that
Does it
fall
fall
under
in
the selectmen's
select-
budget?
Board of Selectmen's,
It comes under the selectmen budget, correct?
So we would
so,
just vote it as.
again, the way the
selectmen.
warrant's written is the subcategories aren't always super clear. They're not always together, is the structural issue. So, I'm gonna have to just do it by wherever there's a solid double line. I'm just gonna, how are we gonna vote that way, though? He probably had another whole spreadsheet I think we used last year. Okay. All right. Does it matter if we,
Why can't we just cut that?
I mean-
We've used that,
Right, but
but yes, well, yeah, we can, yes. Agreed, because I also am cutting this.
can we share the conversation so we can all hear
yeah,
it?
no, I'm just so
Well-
I just didn't know. We have a line item in the
It's-
general government for the
It's
reserve
our fund.
right?
It's where we make all the transfers
The-
out of, like, for emergencies
For emergencies.
that
and
aren't
things.
covered.
But
We
I-
probably
I
could
beg
cut
the
that.
question, why are we going to cut departments that are actually performing services and keep a reserve fund? Cut the reserve fund and balance the budget.
It gets,
Or cut a portion of the reserve fund.
it's gonna be,
we end up
it's gonna be
using some of
potatoes,
it
potatoes,
every
because
year,
it's,
right? Don't we?
whatever happens, it either comes out of that fund or it comes out of free cash,
Yeah,
Okay, but
right?
if,
because, but then you have to go to town meeting for it, so you need that budget. You can't use all the budget, because
but
if
if
you,
they're saying they're gonna, and I wasn't part of the earlier conversation, if they're saying, come back to us and we might find it, then add it back
no,
to the reserve
they have
fund.
some revenue things that we're talking about internally.
Right,
So that's why, even though these numbers are good and what we have on the revenue side, now that we know with the solid waste issue and such, but, like, they're re-looking at some numbers.
right, which I
Yeah,
get. but
yeah.
I'm just, and I,
use the reserve fund in hopes that they can
Or cut it to a
I
hundred.
don't, so I don't think we need to.
Okay.
So again, based on, as I was plugging the numbers in with them, and they got the revenue number, if we, based on the conversation we had the other night with what we're thinking of the adjustments we wanted to make, then that would leave us
Right.
X, call it $100,000, let's
Right.
just say. They feel confident they can cover that.
Okay.
The other thing with that is that not this year, we've only moved, I think it's like $12,000 or 10,000 out of it that we used for that. However, if you take that, then, what, oh. The two I have, so then we've used like 12,000, because there's been 2 transfers. They use it for emergencies, so that for like
So we
the,
used it for the fence.
we used it for the
Yeah.
fence, and then there was an $8,000 one as well,
Demolition or
Right.
something
for the
like that.
demolition of the building
Right.
over on Whitman Street, or Doobie Drive, whatever, the corner over there. It was 8247, I think it was, something like that. So, what?
Go ahead,
Okay.
I'm just having I'm probably having the same thought
Well, I'm
bubble that
wondering why,
Dan's
if we
having.
didn't spend the whole thing, it's not being returned.
And why is it not being used
Well,
on the
it-
transfer sheet?
I can ask that question. It may be, I'll ask.
I was just curious.
Yeah, no.
I guess, I saw the thought bubble come up and I had the same, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause if it's transfer from,
What's the account number? It's,
And I completely agree with you. We should have something so that you don't have to go back to town meeting and
Right,
spend a
because things
lot of
won't get
money.
done if there was, like,
for
that fence
8,000,
thing, you
right.
would've had to wait till July, where it needed to be done.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So that's why it's just a reserve. The other thing that it was used for prior to this is it was used for the veterans, where we get 75%.
132, is that
Um,
right?
We used to have it, and the veterans get reimbursed 75%.
Right.
And so it was like this, revolving fund almost, that the veterans' benefits would come out, then it would go back, then we'd have things, emergencies that would come out of that. And then what they did was they increased the veterans' budget to allow for the reimbursements and
Right.
stuff. So I will find out. I know we should keep some in there, but
So maybe we can take some.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying cut the whole line.
Yeah.
But it should be looked at.
okay.
And again,
Yeah,
it's one
that's
of
good.
those things that
No,
would
that's
have
good. See,
to-
that's
Yeah.
what we need, you know what I
Right.
mean, to look at that, and that's a good suggestion,
Mm.
along with this.
Yeah.
He was fine, we talked to them about that, and he said he thought that taking this much away would be okay, but really any more would probably not be okay, because in case there's lawsuits, in case there's anything that comes up, different, lawyers would need.
was that the question I asked you yesterday too, I think?
What was that, about the legal?
Yeah, if it could be cut.
It can be, however, they don't wanna cut it, they suggested that we didn't cut it too much because of different lawsuits that come up.
Okay, so when that department comes up, are we gonna
Yes.
put that idea in there?
Yeah.
Do we want to vote on general category, like total, we don't want to do like general government and do it that high level. We might have to go a little more granular.
I don't think so.
You think we can, I think if we've got a major
You
change.
mean the one that totals 112,000?
No.
Okay. Stand
I
corrected
mean,
about
like
it.
this general government, like the
It's not on that sheet, it's on the big warrant sheet. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do this. I can kind of just run through,
I think you need to just vote on the totals there.
Okay.
For the departments.
okay, well, again, it's gonna be hard because the sheet's not in the best order. So it's like, again, it's this total general government.
But our sheet was, right, that we originally started with. And it says general services, and then.
You can't go back to anything that's old now because of.
No, I mean, it started out and it said, town clerk, salaries, town clerk, general services, like town clerk, professional services,
Okay.
town clerk, general,
for the
and then
big
down the
departments-
bottom, it would just give a total.
Big departments, that's fine, it's all these funky little ones that are gonna be the issue. So again, we can do it however we want.
Usually, do we vote on that?
So I've got
don't
like town
remember.
moderator, and
I
then
never voted on those before.
it goes into selectmen, and then finance committee, reserve fund, town accountant. So it's the way the sheet's set up.
Well, I think you have general government, right? And you just have to take out, you have town accountant, treasurer, collector built in
Yeah,
there.
you can do totals in
And
there,
everything else, I think,
is selectmen,
is selectmen, right?
yeah.
I think. And then
Yeah.
the
That's why
rest
I
of
was
it's kinda
saying-
go by.
Okay, so let's attempt to use that summary sheet, and then let's, hopefully we don't run
Right,
into
'cause-
any issues. I'm going to, okay. So if we do it this way, then we are gonna vote on all of these line items, like employee benefits, solo, we're gonna go that way. You know,
Next year, I would recommend that we have
I think there was another summary sheet somewhere,
a summary sheet.
that he
There
did.
is.
Can we discuss these by line
There is a
item,
summary
but
sheet.
vote
yeah.
the subtotal?
Or use my sheet and I like literally just list all the departments, and if there's no discussion, we move on, and then we can vote the total.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good idea, too.
okay.
Yeah.
So let me just do that. Let's use this big sheet, because I think it's got the majority of our information in it. So I'll just kind of like,
Just go.
I'll say the miscellaneous line items and
Say if there's discussion or not.
town moderator. We'll move on. Okay. Selectmen, which would be selectmen personnel services and selectmen general sorry, probably should say numbers.
Yeah.
So town moderator, 500, no change. Selectmen, personnel services and general expenses, FY20 request.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is hard for you guys because you're following on a different sheet.
That's all right.
Okay,
right.
267, 977. We had no discussion the other night.
Okay, but wait a minute, is that the one?
Is that where it's?
Okay, never
Nope,
mind.
no,
Nope,
it's not.
I know, okay.
I'll kind of do a call out if
Yep.
there's a
Because
highlight.
you have everything
So
highlighted.
that's not where the town
Nope,
administrator or
there's-
anything falls?
So we had no changes and no
what falls in
discussion.
Yep,
So this is literally just, you know,
Okay.
So we
board
were fine
salaries,
with that.
department head salaries, longevity, all supplies, computers.
yeah.
Um,
Well, Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's
Not,
actually
not
down.
that
I
one.
know.
Finance committee, $500.
Yep,
Reserve fund, $150,000.
Yep. well,
To-
I think that we should have a discussion on. Dan pointed out a good question. We can, I mean, the last 2 years, we haven't used the full amount.
The thing to keep in mind, I guess, is that if we're not using it, it's basically going to free cash, correct?
Right.
So that's what's funding all these other articles on
Right.
the warrant.
Circles, yeah.
Um,
That's kind of potatoes, right?
right, but,
It does help balance the budget.
right, so maybe take some.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to take all of it.
Definitely can't take all of it.
No.
We take a small
But-
amount.
Yeah. So I guess on
Might
that,
be delaying, like, it might create a small problem next year, but if we're just talking 10,000, 20,000.
that's all I'm talking.
Right.
I think you can't decimate the account because it is an account for emergencies
Right.
that come up within the town. And mostly it's maintenance stuff not maintenance stuff, but emergencies. Like the year before, if you remember, we've paid for like emergencies out of it where we had to pay a car out of it 2 years ago. It might have been the year before you came, but I think we've paid the fencing to fix. We paid, I think there was some server things last year
Yeah, there were a police department.
for the police department because they crashed and they couldn't get them back up because they were archaic. So we paid for that. It was an emergency. Came in, we had all the backup, the 3 bids or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I hate to really take too much out of it because one year you may need it, the other year you may not need it as much, So I guess that's my feelings on it. Does anyone have a thought of how much they would want to decrease by?
I mean, I would think based on, I only know what we used this year, and then based on what you said we've used the past couple years, and yes, it goes back into free cash, but I would suggest reducing it by like $20,000.
Anyone else have any thoughts? I don't think you should go any more than that, though.
No, I think that would be the highest.
I think
but-
that's
Or
the
maybe
highest.
even 15, that's
Because,
10%.
you know what I mean, 10%. I guess I'm just thinking, one big emergency comes up and, you know, you're like there. I think it's a good idea, and I think you're right. I mean, I think we should.
But if and also, I mean, if a big emergency comes up like that, maybe you should have another special town meeting to appropriate funds through some other, you know what I mean, like if it's
Yeah.
that big that it's a one-ticket item, it's
Yeah.
gonna cost the town 150 grand.
Although it
Right.
would cost you more to have the special town meeting
Right.
But I agree.
than,
but-
Right.
than the cost of the item.
So I think we want to definitely keep, so maybe we do 15 on that. I think
I think that sounds
10%, like
reasonable.
you said, I think that's appropriate. I just want to keep track of, because do we have enough information to make this decision, I guess?
I keep feeling like I'm a little wishy-washy on the, kind of the way we're doing this.
I do too.
I feel very, I don't feel super comfortable. Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah,
That we go through this tonight and we all agree
Yeah,
on the
but don't
numbers,
vote.
but don't vote on them. I then get it into a summary sheet
yep, and
that
give
we
it to,
all, that we all, well, I can still give her
yeah,
the
yeah.
sheet and the numbers, because I think we'll be in agreement.
No, I think that's a good idea, then we
then-
can get opinions too.
And then we get, I'll put into a summary that everybody has, everybody looks at it visually, has a
Yeah.
copy of it in their hand, and then we do a quick boom, 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 boom vote.
On Monday.
Yeah, it can be Monday before or after. I think per Rocco's, he would be fine with that. I think if we're in agreement.
Yeah.
And then your point, Dan, too,
No, I think that's a good idea.
I think then we have the final revenue number.
Right.
We're voting on something that we have a
No
definitive on.
balances.
I like this idea.
Okay, because I'm like,
Yeah. So let's do that. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, yeah.
okay, so we'll still go through this. We'll still be in
We
agreement.
should have a discussion, a final discussion on every department.
Yep, we'll have agreement.
Yeah.
We don't have to have a vote, we will have agreement, and we'll move forward with that.
Okay.
Okay, feel better now. Okay, so I'm reducing that line item by 10%. Okay. Just
Yep.
bear with me 1 second, because I'm just keeping track down the
Sure.
bottom.
I'm writing too, just so you know.
Okay, thank you. Um,
This is terrible, this thing here.
Okay. General counsel, okay. Next category, next category is town hall computers. And this is where we had that line item with the real needs request of the 17,930 from the selectmen's budget.
Right. And so, after discussing with them today, there's a couple things going on. It sounded like to me with Rocco that he had met with Ryan McGonigal, the IT person, and they are looking to go to something 365.
Office 365.
Yeah, Office 365
capital project.
as a, okay. So, one of the things that we had said was, do we need the licensing then if you're moving to that, Office 365? Didn't know if it was included because it's a project, if that Office 365 licensing was included in that project. Do you know if it is or not?
I do not know, but I
And then the
believe the licensing cost goes down, because Office 365 is a
cloud.
virtually cloud.
Right, so it's cloud-based, right? So then, do you even need licensing?
It's a subscription
It's a
license.
subscription license,
But it's much less expensive.
but it's much less expensive. So I guess on that note, we know we have the 24,000 in there for the line item, but with the additional 17, is it necessary?
And Rocco felt it was.
He felt it was, however, I don't know if I agree with that.
I agree with you.
Because I don't know, I understand computer issues come up. They've had a ton this year. Hopefully, as we're moving forward and bringing this all up to, to speed, everyone gets on this Office cloud, Office 365 in the cloud. Everybody's using the same thing. Everybody's using, consistent, systems. You're not gonna have as many computer issues where we're already doing a capital project. You have the 24 in case something comes up. Do you need the full 17? That's just my thought. Even after talking with Rocco, I don't necessarily agree with it, actually.
So it's 24,000
Plus the 17, whatever it was.
Where they've been making it work with 24.
Right. But now they're buying the licenses, where I think before, I don't know how they were buying the licenses. Well, he said that in the impact statement, didn't he?
He did.
It was coming out of the 24,000 budget, and it was,
Yeah.
I think the way he put it was, it was taking away from what they could spend on small repairs.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because some of the licenses I know were every 2 to 3 years is what it says in this impact statement. And they've been financing these by using the line designated for small annual computer-related
I
projects,
think it's the 24.
which is the 24. But he feels that many of these recurring costs will eat into the IT's ability to perform the minor projects. However,
They've been
I
doing.
think we're spending a lot of money from the capital perspective on IT projects
Yeah.
this year, and they're well
yeah, well,
justified and
yeah,
well
yeah,
needed.
yep.
But if we have to cut, we have,
I'd be comfortable lowering the 17.
Yeah. So I think we should be in agreement on that.
I'm in agreement to lower that.
Yep. So
The 10?
do we want to take it all out or just do the 10? That was my initial thought as well, as the 10. I mean, it increases the line item for some of the licenses, I guess. To be honest, I have an expectation that you're not going to have these small computer projects anymore because, one, there's computers out there. Two, your systems, I mean, just the,
Is the capital project including like desktops and all that, or is it just infrastructure?
no, it's all routers and,
It's all, so
right, it's all infrastructure.
so that's the concern too, is that the capital's all is all routers, firewalls, et cetera. It's
Yeah.
not touching any of
It's not.
it's not touching
but
any
I
of the,
think if we cut 10 out of 17, it still gives them $7,000+
Right.
extra.
And
on
if the
top of-
licenses are only every 2 to 3 years on some of them,
then
right,
the
you
licensing
can see
cost
how
should
it
go
works
down.
this year, and then next year,
yeah.
Right.
maybe increase it then. But again, maybe you start a plan because capital projects with computers.
Well, maybe you made this point earlier, or somebody made the point earlier too, of that maybe now that we have a real IT director, that maybe somehow we can figure out a way to make IT a little bit more of its own department and
Right.
have a
Right.
proposal.
And-
Budget for
and
It should have its own
should
budget
it have
and a
its-
presentation with
And
the
it should
IT
have a
director.
5-year plan.
Right.
Yeah.
Because with all of the computers here, with everything,
Right,
that
you know
needs
you
to be
don't have a
developed.
life of a computer of more than 5 years, so you need
Correct.
to be on like a schedule for replacing
Yep.
them.
And is
Right.
that the expectation of Brian, him being brought in as like a
It's
part-time
ours.
person? It's ours, okay.
Yeah.
So is that?
Well,
is
because
it
remember,
feasible
he's
for-
an IT person that we're sharing.
Right,
So we're sharing with Hanson, so he's here whatever day, however they worked it out, I'm sure it's fine. But I do believe that with all the work that he's doing and has planned doing, I still think that we can go down that money.
We said we could try it if it's,
that's one,
So should we take 10 out of that and leave the 7?
I think that's fair.
Okay, so
I don't know if you guys, what do you guys think?
Away, add some of this.
is everybody relatively in agreement?
Minusing the 10.
Okay. Hold on, let me just adjust.
What line item is that, Laura?
Town hall computers.
Town hall.
I'm taking off 17.9, so now I'm just reducing 17.9 to 10.
So you're just gonna reduce 10 and leave the change or whatever it
Yeah.
was that you had put in.
Okay. Okay. That was the only line item there. Okay, town clerk's department. Okay, what we had discussed on Tuesday. I forgot what.
No, go ahead. I'm thinking out loud, but
Okay.
really not.
Town clerks, what we had discussed on Tuesday, and actually Michelle already verbalized for the warrant, was maintaining the department head salary at a 2% increase, not a 2.5% increase. So we adjusted that line item to be a 2% increase. However, we felt that because her budget in total was at 2%, that the difference, that 0.5% difference, we would put back into, and I think we just picked office supplies.
Yeah,
Or
we just
supplies
put it
out of
in
the
there,
office,
so
yeah.
whatever it is.
To keep her bottom line budget whole.
I agree.
Same.
Awesome. Crystal, good?
I am good.
Okay. Board of registrars, we had no discussions. Conservation, we had no discussion. Please, anybody, if they have a discussion, just stop me.
Yep.
Or want to start a discussion. Planning board, we reviewed, no change, no discussion.
Okay,
So-
wait a minute, wait.
They're down public safety.
Yep. I just,
I just did the same thing.
Okay, sorry.
wait a minute.
Zoning board of appeals,
Yep.
no discussion the other night. Facilities management, we had no discussions. That,
Yeah, I think facilities is, you guys would be, that's your DPW. I mean,
and there, yeah.
You didn't have anything on that earlier, right, in the facilities?
We didn't. Is that the line item though that contains seasonal help?
No,
Okay.
this is just straight
Great,
facilities.
okay,
And then school facilities is
Oh,
the sub to
right,
that
right.
one.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. So there were no major real needs asks there. I don't know if that came out right. And again, the majority of these didn't have any major real needs
Yep.
increases. So town telephone, townwide insurance, and workers' comp were the next three individual line items that we had no discussion and no major increases.
I'm sorry, what was that last one?
Workers' comp?
Oh, yeah. It's not in this general, it's lumped in,
Okay,
I highlighted that.
and probably in townwide insurance.
yeah. You have no choice, so that's fine.
Yeah, employee benefits,
Yep, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Next was the townwide electricity. This we did have, a real needs,
Well, so I have a question on that, actually, before, on that.
well,
So, the solar energy program is one thing.
no,
It's now all called the townwide electricity.
yes.
So that's why you called it that. Is that a balance of 970?
976, 809.
Yep.
Remember he said it's actually, we were.
That's why I was asking when you
Yes,
said it.
It was mislabeled, and I'm like, well, I couldn't, I was like looking on my sheet the other day. and
That's why I
couldn't
just
find
was
it, and I'm
double
like,
checking, because I had noticed that they switched to the townwide electricity as a name. But, so I
Oh,
wanted to
we
make
did.
sure I was on the right line item, so it's really not solar program
solar,
anymore.
okay.
No.
It's not exclusively solar.
So this is where the
Right.
real needs increased it by 80,000, but your
Yes.
discussions with
Yeah.
town hall, town accountant.
Yeah, and they're not even
everything,
sure that that will
seems
cover it,
that
yeah.
that's not-
And one of the things is just that the, school is open basically 24/7 now, either with people there, rentals, you know, the whole weekend, it's there, custodians and what have you. So it's being used all the time, and so
And rates are up in general.
and rates are up in general.
We're as energy efficient as we can be over there.
I think so in that building. In that building, yes, but I wouldn't know about the others, and yeah, that's maybe a question for Brian, maybe?
I wish they could put solar panels on the roof.
So why not?
But we have the solar field for it. 2 solar fields.
How's that working?
Right.
Well, with the rates and everything, not so good,
I
I
mean, it's probably
guess.
better if we didn't have them at all. It'd be
Right.
worse,
Right.
But
Or if the sun came out more than
But
one
yeah,
day.
well, we're hoping now it'll, really pick up.
We need cloud panels. All right, so everybody is fine with that?
I'm fine with leaving the 80
It
grand in
sounds
there
like we
for it. I
have-
mean,
it
it
sounds
sounds
like
like,
it's necessary,
we
Um,
so
Similarly, the next line item, townwide gasoline,
yeah, I mean,
we're in the same boat.
unfortunately, it's
With
going
that
up
one.
every day.
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
90.
so now you have it at, what, 90?
96.6, it was an increase of $15,000. All right. The next category is other general government, minimal increase year over year.
Yeah,
So the
is
way-
that the 112 at the end?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So that actually is the
Bottom
end
of
of
the
that
category.
total general government category.
Yep.
That concludes the general government category of our show.
We did town accountant and all that, I guess I missed it,
No, we
treasurer.
didn't.
Oh, sorry, go.
Hasn't come up yet.
Oh, right, different sheet.
Okay, diving into police. Okay, police, did have a substantial real needs addition with civilian dispatch, program being expanded jointly with fire.
Do you know the fire's up 7%? But anyway.
If you look
Or on
at
police.
the PowerPoint, it sticks out, that last page, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
We talked to him about that, we did.
So for fire, it's an ad of a brand-new program,
Right,
right? Police, it's a
changing of the
I'm not sure my
program.
word. I can't find my words all of a sudden.
Yeah,
It's an enhancing.
yeah.
It's an
Right.
enhancement of an existing program. So fire, it's a brand new, complete, total new ask.
Right, because they have to hire 3 people
Right.
to do civilian dispatch, which,
And then police is
but in
just
the
an
long run, you
enhancement.
should see gains on that, even next year. You really should start to see the gains on that, and over time, you'll really make your money back, I think. Or close, like, you know what I mean?
And it's still good to have the firefighters out.
Right,
Yes.
because you want the firefighters out, exactly.
So,
You don't want them
Doesn't
to
make
be
sense
waste,
for a
right, it makes,
a trained firefighter
Yep.
to be answering a phone.
Yep.
Um,
and as Rocco said,
It's more.
once this goes and you have a dispatch, those people can really work anywhere. I mean, you can move them, and if there's a South Shore one, I know there's one over in Holbrook that services many towns. So I think there's one down the Cape, but I'm just saying, I think it's a good idea, and
And eventually maybe it
it
will.
is eventually, and I think he's told us the story a couple of times about Texas, that as big as Texas is, he said there's only like 14 dispatch throughout the whole state. So if that's the case, it must be working if that, so I think you'll see gains in the long run on that.
so are we comfortable leaving the real needs ask as is
Or police.
for police?
Assuming that there's revenue to be found. Then yes, I am.
Comfortable for the time being, at this moment?
I guess.
I'm gonna say right now, I'm comfortable in the sense of, I'm comfortable that I would like the budget to only go up for the dispatch and not something else. So, I guess at this point, I wanna relook at a couple things, which I can do over the weekend.
In this line item?
Mhm.
Okay.
But right now, I'm in agreement.
And I think
As
this
she
is,
said, provided we can get to
well,
our
I
balanced
think with
budget.
police and fire, because they have such large increases because of this program this year,
Yes,
if news comes back to us, then obviously those are two areas, two out of the probably three budgets, total budgets, bigger budgets that we would have to
Correct.
look at.
I
Okay.
would agree with that.
Okay. So probably not having to get too much more into it. Fire department's next, obviously, pretty much
I'm same.
same,
that.
same exact conversation. We're kind of
Yes.
lumping them together this year. Okay. Building inspection, we had minimal increases, no real needs asked, no issues. Gas and plumbing, same, no minimal increases, no issues.
Yeah.
Wiring, same.
There's,
Oh,
those guys were all just contractual, I
Yep.
believe, so,
Yep,
Yeah, and it's
very minimal increases.
yeah.
dollar amounts are
Yep,
very, very
minimal. Sealer of weights and measures, same thing.
Yep.
Civil defense personnel, same thing. Dog officer, same thing. Field driver, fence viewer.
Yeah, you have to keep those, but yeah.
Yep. Department of Tree and Land Management, same thing. Everything was held stable, which concludes our Department of Public Safety. Okay.
Where's the tree?
Yeah,
That one
there's-
falls into wonky. For some reason, I think that falls. I should know. I've looked at it enough. Is it in the? It's in the DPW somewhere.
Highway
think.
and land
Does it fall under
management.
care of public ground?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that the seeds?
Yes.
And if it's the seeds, it falls under the school. Care of grounds, right?
No, this one's separate.
It was like
Ground-
60 grand.
No,
This
this is
is-
I
like
mean,
5,000.
5,000,
5,000.
yeah.
I don't think it falls in schools.
This is, this one, I think, the care of grounds
Yeah.
is 60,000.
Next is the school department.
I'm comfortable with it.
I'm fine with the school,
Comfortable with it?
fine with the busing, fine
Busing.
with Reach.
Yep, okay. Everybody, Crystal, you good with those three? And that takes care of total education. Okay, starting DPW, so they're a little,
All over,
they're not,
yeah.
they're all over the place, so they're
Yeah.
not gonna be, we're not gonna go through them consistently. So highway and tree.
Land management.
So DPW, Department, Highway, Tree. So we did have increases in real needs asks in this department. They were specifically in labor payroll, which includes seasonal workers, and in the top section. So let's just start at the top section. So that was the one increase for personnel services in there.
Just seasonal?
I would not definitively say that.
Some of it was contractual, there was no
Yeah, there
adds
was-
to staff. for
That's what I mean,
permanent.
so there's no adds to staff,
No.
contractual.
Yeah, and
We asked
seasonal.
them to add back the seasonal.
We did. But if we come back, that's an area we
Yes,
cut.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then under the general expense category for that same department, off-duty details was increased.
That one, I think, I was comfortable with,
Yep,
Okay.
the reasoning for that.
I mean, it's
was-
ridiculous how expensive it is, but
Right.
It
it
is
has to have it.
heat,
But
no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. and that was pretty much it. So again, I think we're all in agreement that that's fine, but
I
it's
am.
an area we need to reexamine.
Yep.
Streetlights, I think we're good with streetlights being on.
Sure.
Fleet maintenance, although they should turn off, although I am grateful they turned the lights off finally at the gazebo at night. Little things bothered me, I drive by and the lights would be on all night.
What are you doing out
Fleet
that
maintenance, we didn't really have anything,
No, it was-
no real needs asked or major increases in
contractual.
fleet, yep. Disposal areas, consistent 30,000 line item. Water department, so water department we also did, and it was almost for the similar, if not same reasons. Labor payroll, again, was the increase, and I think that was the only line item in water. And then indirect costs, we don't have any control over really. System upgrades, a consistent line item, and debt service, obviously, is the bottom section to that. Public Works. Board of Health did not have,
It was fine. It
a
was
real
below
needs
2.
ask, it was just, minimal
Yep.
increases. Sewer treatment, personal services actually went down.
Yep.
Sewer treatment general expenses went up, but not, the normal amount, I guess I should say. Animal inspector, no issues. Animal expenses, that's fine. Solid waste. So,
Sorry, Board of Health was supposed to go down, wasn't it? With the sewer treatment.
no,
being taken
so
out.
we take the entire, no, so it won't go out because you take the entire budget out,
Separate it out.
pluck it out, and move it down to
Gotcha.
DPW. So solid waste, we had an increase, that's where we asked John to go back and add in
Last year's,
$80,000, which is the number that we're hitting for a shortfall this year, so that
Correct.
is the increase. And again, to the points that Michelle made earlier, it's not gonna be enough, hence the other issues. But we increased it by that amount. So that was the only, and I don't think we obviously are gonna touch that.
Let's give it a few years of the program
Yeah,
running
really.
before we start.
Stop, throw you, and recycle away. Council on Aging.
Only
I'm yelling at my
recycle
mother,
what's
throw it away, throw it
recyclable.
away.
yeah.
Okay, so next is Council on Aging. They did have a real needs ask, totaling, I believe it was like 16,105 for the addition, a new addition of one new staff person.
I think,
No,
yeah, we
No.
were mostly in agreement that they could try to.
I think
work
they
with
need
what
to,
they have there
exactly.
and-
I think there's 3 full-time staff, and I would like to see them utilized for that. And there's also work-off staff there. I also feel that maybe some different type of training or different tips for people would help. I know that she was concerned about people giving wrong information, but maybe they could make it a little clearer. I don't know. I'm not down there to see, but I would ask that they give it another best effort in training or visuals or what have you. That's my opinion.
I agree.
I agree. So what I did on this one is
So
I
that-
actually reverted them back to their 2% budget.
Yep.
So it was not only the clerical line, so I moved the clerical salary back, but then, between her 2% and her real needs, the 200 line items tweaked just like $29 just to make the numbers work. So I put those other 2 line items back to their original 2%. So just so we're clear, it's 3 line items that I'm moving back to the 2%
And how much
budget.
was the impact of the person?
Of
that?
it was like a net
16,100?
of like roughly 16,000. I have the number somewhere.
Hey, I'm
Hold
just
on.
trying to get to our number.
It's a net of 16,105.44.
Okay.
Okay, next is Veterans Services. We had minimal increase, no issues. Public Library. The library did have a real needs request. It was for 1 line item, and it was it was librarian salaries. It was a total of $3,870. And that would be to move the young librarian into the correct professional category on the grid.
I would like to
I was
give
just
them
waiting.
it.
He's abstaining.
Okay.
Well, we're not voting.
Right, we're
Right.
not
So we're
voting, so
discussing.
yeah,
Just-
yeah,
So
that's true.
if I were voting,
Ah,
I would be in, with the
I-
amount that we're increasing some of the other departments to do some of
I
what
think
they're
you should
doing.
hold on
Okay.
your discussion.
Okay,
yeah.
Hold on your discussion too,
okay.
only because I just went through it, so.
I just feel like they need to live within their 2% budget. I know feel like they're getting picked on, but
I think a lot, I mean, not every department's living
yeah.
within their 2%.
If you fix the grid,
I feel like we fixed the grid last year, so
We didn't though, it wasn't us,
it wasn't us.
and it was still broken.
No, like I said
Ti-
the other day, they're two separate issues.
Yeah,
It's not
I know, but
her being
it's tough because they are tied so closely too though.
right, but she's
Oh, 'cause
being,
she was
she's at a disadvantage because of an error that's
Yeah,
gone on through.
but here's what I'm gonna say. We looked at the grid, we redid the grid we feel is, we would like to, let me put it this way. We redid the grid on our own as to what it should have been, we feel. So I would agree with the way our grid was done. I would like to see them do more verbiage and do that for when you get to your 6th step. In regard to the young librarian, my concern is that she's still getting a 5% increase each year. I'm not sure I would trust their math, and I would want to see I guess I would want to see the calculation, to be honest with you.
so we also have the opportunity, because we have to vote on the warrants, the other
Right.
warrants. The
grid.
grid being one of those items. We, as a recommendation committee, do not have to recommend and vote in favor of that grid.
We don't. But then it reverts to the old grid and it stays there. So then,
Right,
I'm
and
just
then we
saying,
still have the opportunity to work with them and get them,
agreed,
on
but
board with-
then they don't get a raise this year at all. So I'm just saying, if people are comfortable with that, then there's that. I guess what I'm just saying is, one, I didn't think the math was correct when we looked at it before, and you had put the grid
but,
together.
but the grid being the separate issue. This issue is just to put her in the right category.
I know, but I need to use that as part of my defense. Because when we did the grid out to what we felt it should be, we found mistakes, right? That almost like they didn't understand how it really should work, and the grid that was presented was haphazard kind of thing. So what I'm saying is that while it's short money, I guess, are we just putting her in a category and the impact would be the 3,000, or are we talking any retro going back? I guess I don't trust if it's
I-
going back, however, whatever. I don't want to live
It's-
within your budget.
I was gonna say, ultimately,
Saying this is a starting point, do you know what I mean? Because if I'll just finish this. So if you're thinking of giving retro back, I don't think,
but I don't think anybody said that.
okay.
This, and I
Because I
think,
wouldn't trust their math. I would want to see it before I voted on that, that's all. That part.
but again, I think we're voting on just this one line item, this $1 amount to increase their budget by.
So this
We're not even-
increase by putting her in, so July 1st, she'll start getting paid as a young librarian. Here's my question. What's going to happen next year?
She would get
We have to
the,
deal with it. We don't, know- nobody knows what's gonna happen next year. I mean,
hopefully if we get
Right,
done
I
what
mean,
we
we
want
can't-
to with the grid,
right.
she'll get a 2% increase, like the
Well,
rest
she'll
of
get
the
5.
staff.
Not if we're successful in getting them to
Yeah.
understand. And again,
But
if
the
not,
other librarians in her position are getting,
And I understand that being put in the right bucket.
So
I,
do we increase her and, but then not recommend their grid, but then can we work with them next year on fixing that grid? Like, well,
that's the intent is to,
But
and
then-
we've already started the process
But
with
what
Rocco of
happens-
getting him
but I
involved
think we
with them
have to
too.
recommend
You
the
have-
grid.
you
This
have to,
year. It's
Be-
too late at this point to not, I think.
because then the grid reverts back to last year's and stays there, and then the people up in 6 don't get a raise.
Yeah.
So I think you're at a point where,
So
It's
let me
really
ask the
both.
question, and history aside, is it worth potentially losing a good employee over $3,800?
I don't think so.
No.
Given the success
I
she's
don't-
had
I
in
don't
that
think so.
department, and I think that's what it comes down to.
I don't think so. I know it's late in the budget process. However, this was brought up, I guess I would have liked to have seen when you brought it up to him, or,
I just got it
Previous-
3 weeks ago, so, you know,
no, I know,
But this is what he presented
months
to
ago,
us
months, right.
months ago. And I
So,
think, again, this being a really difficult transition year and losing the committee members that were
right,
assigned to them, and
I mean, it is, you're either for it or you're not.
What are we right now? Like, how much have we chipped away at, potentially?
Right now, we're at 41. And we have more, because I have one more thing.
So,
I'm, good.
okay, I feel like I would be comfortable with this in hopes that next year we really get this, like,
Yes.
like, let's, with good faith effort, you know. Let's go for it. And then see that I don't feel bad about my words later. That's all.
That's all I can hope for.
That's all I can hope for. And I'll let you know that we still have a CD out, so, you know, just keeping up with the fines, guys.
No, there's no signs
So
anymore.
is there a motivation?
No, there is. Don't insist.
don't
I get
worry.
a text message. Good job, guys. Thanks for letting me know.
I
Up
think
to
I feel,
$24.
If somebody's waiting for it, then there's a fine. If there's
I think with
nobody waiting.
CDs, like, you only get so long to
oh,
have
there's
it
no more
out.
fines anymore. I thought they said they were getting.
Only
rid
on
of all the
books.
Books are automatically
only if-
renewed if no
Yeah,
one's waiting.
Right,
for
it's
them.
only on
That's
books,
what
but
they said.
you have a CD.
So I'll
Gotcha.
just, you know, on the record, it's my husband's book on CD. If
CD.
anyone's
Oh.
watching this, it's not me, just.
Yeah, like,
Under the bus. I think I feel
Okay.
I think I feel similarly. How do you feel?
Oh,
Similarly?
so, yeah.
Okay. Tonight, we don't care what you think, Dan.
I'm not voting.
Yeah. All right, so, that was the end of the library. 2 line items.
yeah.
Historical Commission, no change. Arts Lottery Council, excuse me, no change. Standard enterprise line item. Debt service, I assume we can get debt service, because I don't think we're changing anything.
I don't think any of us are recommending anything there.
So we can scooch over that. That was it? Did I miss one, Michelle? Because you said you had another one?
I did, because it was in the,
Like town accountant, treasurer, board of
yeah,
assessors,
you didn't get those,
town council.
yeah,
I apologize.
and,
Snow removal.
because I didn't get to,
It's
yeah, and I didn't get to put in my town council,
Oh, okay, let's go.
taking 10,
We did. We talked about that.
no, we didn't,
Not in this meeting.
not in this meeting.
I think we briefly touched
Yeah,
upon
like-
it,
Yeah, we
but
did.
it hasn't
No,
been
we
like
just kind of
part
touched
it,
on it, but we didn't talk numbers, how much we're gonna take.
Yeah, we
and-
said 10,000.
Not about
No.
town.
But we
Not
weren't
here.
like going through the budget yet, you know? You know, Laura.
Have a long day, Laura, it's okay.
See you next, honey.
Oh, here's treasurer collector. How did I skip that?
We have town accountant assessors, all those.
Okay, I hit assessors. You heard me say that. How did I
You had
vote?
assessors, I missed it. on
I
my
did,
check
I had
mark.
assessors.
I didn't
Ah,
have
okay,
assessors.
maybe seriously, I skipped. Oh. We got hung up at reserve fund. I might not have scrolled back up appropriately. Okay. Town accountant. Okay, so we did, let's see.
Well, there was a real need, because we put it back, the general expenses back, because of the contractual
Yep,
obligations to the town accountant. Plus the longevity is in there now, and just the general, right?
Yeah.
That was the only thing, so
Yeah.
we put the general back, and you have to, basically.
yep, it was.
What are you gonna have the
contractual.
town accountant not have paper?
We
Just
don't
saying.
need any
Not 'cause we
shake-up in
used
that
one.
office.
No.
No, right.
No, we don't.
Stay with us, Phyllis.
Yes.
Okay, Board of Assessors. Maybe I didn't do Board of
Nothing there, right?
Assessors.
Okay.
I
I do
don't
have a
know.
discrepancy that I wanted to mention.
In Board of Assessors?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Hold the phone, please. And then treasurer collector.
Yes.
Okay, so treasurer collector, their budget did change. Actually, salary line item went down, and we actually put in the stipend back in,
The 1,000.
the $1,000 stipend back in. But there was no real needs. It was just, with the transition, it was
Right.
just getting updated information.
It was like found money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I call it when someone leaves you high back.
Oh my God, I
lower.
did miss all these other things. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, because I did miss professional services, financial line item, postage line item,
Well, we don't.
Yeah, no, those we
Treasure,
don't
okay,
have.
that's
Out here,
treasure
they're all
collector.
lumped in.
and town council. I had highlighted with a
Yeah,
note.
but I
so-
have one other thing in the,
You knew it.
I have something in the, I think falls under collector.
Okay.
So if you look on its line 147, tax title legal,
Is that the 15,000?
Wait a
it's the
minute.
15,000.
What department is it in?
I think
General government?
it's in general government, but I think it falls under,
Hold on, I'm just gonna search it. Couldn't
that-
find it.
it's right there, same part by reserve.
Right under reserve here.
01147 is the account. So I guess I'm gonna keep going.
15,000?
Yeah, so I guess what I'm just gonna say is, if you look at our expenditures, tax title treasurer, and it's in treasurers in parentheses, but that's because that's where you get it from, it's at 25. However, here, we have it at 15.
Aren't there two separate line items?
Are there two separate line items? That's my question.
Oh.
Because then where would it,
So, there's professional services legal, tax title counsel. That's in treasurer collector.
is that for 25?
That's 17.
17.
Then there's that 15, that's its own separate category,
Yep.
tax title. I think those are the only two.
But then why would I have tax title 25 on my expenditure side? I think it should then be 15. But Melissa was saying that she wanted to leave it at 25. However, last year, this line item was at 15, but should it have been 25? I'm not, I just want to make sure that, because it's the same name, so I want to, oh, look at you.
But this number lives outside of the
The
general,
budget.
of the budget. That's why I think they're two different numbers.
Okay.
Two things,
I just wanted to make sure that,
but
Because-
but please don't quote me, but, but it would be double counting.
okay, however,
And I thought we asked somebody.
but if you look at this, which is, do you have it on there?
So all I'm seeing here is that we have the 17 line item that she was talking about,
Yeah.
and then we have the 15,000.
Okay.
I'm not really sure where this,
25 is coming from?
so that, right?
You
is
have it
that
on there, though?
The 25?
Yeah.
No,
No, see, I don't think the
that
25's anywhere on the
17?
operating budget.
no, it's not.
It's like a separate, complete.
But I know because Phyllis told me, she's like, you get the number from Melissa, they were thinking of, decreasing it, but then she said, I talked to it, no, because they're gonna go out for auction maybe, and if that's the case, you're gonna need money.
I think it's separate,
All right,
but
I just wanted to double check because,
That was for a bond auction. Yeah.
so, that's why okay, that's fine. I just wanted to double check.
but no. I remember the conversation. I thought you had asked her, but
I did, but I
So, I mean,
guess I couldn't reconcile it, that's all,
Yeah,
in my mind.
okay.
So I wanted,
Two differences,
Yeah.
like what does one account?
yeah,
Why
because
does it-
why
why does
do,
this
why do we
live
have the
outside?
17, why do we have the
Right.
15?
right.
And mine's
then
at
we have a
25.
25.
Well-
And then the
we have
25.
Three different
So
tax
let's,
title
so the
expenses.
15, the category is tax title, the line item is professional services legal. So that's,
Oh,
I
okay.
say that's completely and totally separate.
Yeah,
Under treasurer, it's under their general expenses, professional services legal, parentheses, tax title counsel. So that's again,
That's
legal
separate.
services
that's separate than,
to support this activity.
oh, okay, all
I'm
right,
guessing. Does that sound,
that makes more
Makes
sense,
sense.
yeah, okay.
okay.
I'm
So
gonna
it's
check it
really,
off here.
it's really legal services are the two operating budget items, okay.
sorry, so how are we getting that 25?
We get that number directly from the
Melissa.
treasurer.
But that's.
But they don't
commensurate
coincide
for-
with the 15 or the 17.
Because
is
the
what we're
15 and the
deciding.
17
it's two
aren't really
separate
tax
things. It's
title
three
accounts,
separate
they're
things.
legal services.
Okay.
All right,
All right, well, there we go.
Now I think I covered them all.
I think you did too.
Except for town council.
So,
I still have it highlighted. Let's do town council real
Yes.
quick.
town
I
council,
apparently had in my notes that we were deducting $10,000.
yes, so that's what I would recommend, is decreasing that line item by 10.
I'm in agreement.
I'm gonna go
And
back
then-
and watch the film, because I'm pretty sure we talked about it.
Yeah, so we talked to both Rocco and Phyllis, and, obviously, some years you have more activity in that than others.
It's kinda like,
So-
it's kinda like snow and ice.
Right, he said that he would be comfortable, he didn't want to take too much away from it, but that he would be comfortable taking that. We could even do 15, but no more than that. Thoughts?
Start at 15.
You want to do 15? Okay. Laura? Are you in agreement with that, or do you want to do the 10?
I'm comfortable with the 10,
Okay.
but
What are you comfortable with?
given my conversations that we had downstairs,
Just with upcoming things that could be happening?
I think we should probably not do too much.
Shouldn't do too much.
And it is.
No,
We just got the
actually,
wink, you know.
actually, I think, I would go with 15 to start. And you know what? I think that's something that let's revisit again if we have to. You know what I mean? That's all. Because I think that's, yeah. Because it is what it is, you're gonna have to pay it anyway.
Do we know what was spent this year?
Well,
I don't have the most
We
recent
kinda do
management report.
because-
As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
Phyllis is waiting for April. She does not have it yet.
Yeah, that
And,
makes sense.
and to the
Wouldn't-
point,
wouldn't it be
it's
less
at
than
excess 42,
42?
but
But
what they were trying to say is activity is inconsistent, and it obviously ebbs and flows with whatever kind of current situation
Right.
is, and there might be some situations coming up that would totally negate that.
I say we start at 15. And then,
Is it big enough situations,
Well-
15,000 is nothing in a lawyer's
Well,
bill.
right, and here's the thing. Well, also too, along with that, if their revenues can cover it, then okay. If they can't, then, you know. That's just my thoughts.
Okay, Michelle, you kept notes of what we changed,
Yep.
right? Computers, we reduced 10,000, council on aging, we reduced 16,105.
Yes.
Legal, it was, reserve.
But you have to add back in the library at
I
3,800,
didn't take the
right?
library out, no.
What'd you say, it was 3,800?
I don't have to put that back in, because that's just, it just stays in the,
Oh,
as
cause you have
is.
the real needs in
Yeah,
there.
Oh,
but
okay.
we did tap the reserve.
We did by 15. So then in total, that's 30, 40, 56,
$1,000.
right? 56?
56,105.
Yep.
And $5,000 off.
Oh, 30.
How much?
40,
Exactly
50.
5,000?
So I reduced that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a
30, 40, yeah, 56.
56, 105.
minute. Oh, no, I did something wrong here.
Plus 132.
Try that again.
Anyone?
Okay, that's better.
So it leaves, call it 76.
Yeah, round up, or round down, whatever. So 76.
Based on your conversations.
That's
does
definitely
that
doable.
Sound.
Yes.
Okay, so 57, 87, okay.
Well, then go us.
I don't feel too accomplished just yet.
No, I mean, I think that's some good work. I think people got what they wanted,
So when we meet on.
or some people did.
Right. When we meet on Monday, do we have to go through each article and
They'll be going through, they'll go through them.
What time is Monday?
but do we have to vote that we endorse the article? Cause they always come up to you as the chair and say, is
I
this-
know. I'm just so looking forward to that.
Do we want to run through the articles really quick?
I think we should.
I think we have to.
Let's,
Is that with special town meeting?
Save as.
Yep.
Changes in others. Oh my God.
yes. Well, also too, do we want, yeah. We have transfers to do.
We don't have to do the transfers now,
Nope.
though.
No,
Yeah, did you
we,
say we could do them after town meeting?
you can, but
And especially if we have
they're
questions.
not gonna change.
Yeah, I just
These
remember you
numbers.
saying that, and I was just curious.
The only thing that would possibly happen was that they'd just add to it, but these numbers aren't gonna,
I think there's some questions, though, that I think,
which ones?
you know, when you have $700 overage on your labor line item, and it's only May 16th,
They project out.
but if you have a $700 shortage, you cut back and make your budget.
I agree, but
I fail to see why we would be transferring $700.
I think that's a question. Are you the liaison?
For which one?
Yeah. Laura and I both are.
Do
Oh,
we have
okay.
copies of this?
We should go back
I gave
and
it to you
find
with
that
the,
out.
yep.
Sorry.
Budget shortage here, $700. Or you
And-
should
and-
go to Phyllis and see what,
Yeah,
because she would get an explanation too. I know what you're saying.
and like, and if they get explanations, like, should we be getting that back up with an explanation too?
No.
I don't
Never
know.
have before.
No?
No.
Like
I'm not saying
zoning-
that's right or wrong. I'm just saying we never have before.
Like I would imagine like zoning clerical was probably just like an error maybe in what was.
That's what I
budgeted.
think is,
just-
I
is
think
it
that's what
one
happened.
salary?
Right. There is only one,
Just a
actually.
really quick question back to fire. I know we talked about it already,
Yes.
but just because I'm looking at this. So the ambulance billing, how there's a shortfall, that's because he doesn't
Oh.
go after it each year, right?
No.
So I can
Have
explain
Laura
this
tell
to
you,
member.
just
So
because we just
when-
talked about it
When you have a
downstairs.
billing company,
Yep.
they bill you on a percentage of revenue. So when your revenue is estimated at, let's just say $100,000, you have a percentage of it, and that's what you typically, whatever your revenue is, you budget that expense. They've done well in their revenue, so their revenue has increased, which is a great thing, but simultaneously, your billing fee goes up by that same percentage increase.
So it's really just
So-
the billing
So
fee
it's
that we're
an
covering.
increase in the billing fee
Yeah.
that is a
you
result
got a lot
of
more in
much
revenue.
more revenue coming in.
Okay.
So
Alright.
it's in essence a good problem to
Like
have.
a commission,
Yes.
like if you.
Yeah, you
think of it
typically
like
pay
that.
a 4%,
Yeah.
a 4% on
Right.
receipts,
Okay.
For a
They
billing
used to
company.
do like 3, and then they
Now you can't, I
know everything.
pay 3.5, and that's a good deal.
Yeah, that is a good
It's
deal.
a really good deal, so, and I think he pays around 4. So, it's a good problem, that one is a good problem
It's
to
a,
have.
yeah,
Carry on.
But excellent question.
No, but that's good,
Because we
right?
asked it earlier.
I heard it and I was like, wait,
we
what?
did.
Yeah.
And he did talk about it that night,
Yeah.
but I didn't remember until they gave the explanation, because there's just so much out there.
So we have to we will be asked if the finance committee recommends any article that's appropriating and transferring or
Yeah.
appropriating.
Mhm.
Okay.
The first article in the special town meeting's very straightforward. Take money from library fines and use it to.
It's out there every year.
$5.
So we only vote on items that deal with money.
And since that's just a
Yep.
transfer, it's not
That's just a-
technically money.
Well, no, it is. We would vote on
So
that.
we would vote on that one. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying we wouldn't.
Nope,
I was like,
we would.
Do we want to do those votes tonight?
Do you want to run through them and ask questions first, and then if we're good with the whole sheet, we can?
I think we should vote on them. Get this out of the way.
Yeah.
There's only 6 articles.
Right.
And it's all money, because that's everything from FY18.
Right.
This is all FY18 stuff. So do you want me to read them?
Or should we all just read them real quiet and then go? Unless you want to read them all.
That's nice.
You want to switch off paragraphs like right now?
I'm
Elementary school?
Everyone grab an
Wow.
article to read, and then I'll go with
That
the first.
seems,
Who gets 2? There's only 5 of us.
wow, that seems harsh. Did you not like my speaking?
No, no,
voice?
no, not at
He's
all.
like, you know what, Michelle?
Wait.
I
He's
just didn't know
like,
if you wanted to sit there and read the whole page.
He's like, yeah, there's no way I'm listening to her. I've heard her enough. All right.
Is the parking lot repair done this way because it didn't meet the capital threshold?
Which number are you on?
The,
Well-
the
4.
parking lot, did it come up as a request?
It was not a capital request,
Okay,
No.
but it doesn't meet the capital
Right.
requirement.
Right. All right, so Article 1.
hold on, wait a minute, I'm a little behind, hold on.
See, this
Okay,
is-
yeah,
Mr. Reed,
okay.
You know them all.
I didn't even get a chance to read them yet.
Okay, good. Article 1 is the annual library fines. It pays the library, it just allows them to collect the fines and use it for their library books and periodicals.
I make a motion,
Yes, I wish you would.
I make a motion, on Article 1, to pass Article 1 as written.
I second it.
Can I, do we have, we don't have to reread the whole thing.
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So 5
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
So 4
4 to 0 to 1. Is that how it works?
to 1.
Another quick thing, just to make it easier for Laura, on capital, what we do is whoever, we make the motion and second consistent, so it's easier for the minutes.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Looking out for you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We can definitely do that.
Okay, so that was hold on, so that's a 401, okay.
Article 2.
So I guess I guess I made myself stuck with it then. I motion to,
No, I don't even think you have to do that, right?
yeah, I think you do. It's a new vote. Each article's a
Okay,
new
go.
vote. I make a motion to pass Article 2 as written.
Second it.
Any discussion? Okay, everyone understands and it's just a reclass from these 3 line items to cover additional comp. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Article 3.
Article 3, I make a motion to pass Article 3 as written.
I second it.
Any discussion? This is for the town administrator search. Free cash for town
I'm sorry,
administrator.
I do have a discussion. So when
Yes.
most towns go through this, they always getting a consulting firm and kind of doing this route?
Where it's
Is
an
it needed?
executive position, and it's a specialized position, most towns do an executive type search.
Yeah, I actually watched the presentations, and then I actually, out of just curiosity, went online and looked at this company. It's not just town managers and administrators, it's other types of positions within the towns too. So it could be even an IT director, it could be something in the schools. They do a ton of positions. Super, I was really, really impressed with their
Because if not,
website.
it's
Go on it and look.
something the Board of Selectmen might miss, is that what?
It's a whole due
Well,
diligence
it's not, they're
process, too.
specialized,
It's
right? I mean,
backgrounds.
you want the best, you want people to advocate for your town, and you want to get the best person that you possibly can. And maybe the selectmen don't have the expertise in that area, of, you know, qualifications, what to look for, just anything in a job search. So the best course is to go out and hire a company. It's money well spent, because in the end, the hope is that you get the best candidate and you get your money's worth almost, you know what I mean? So, you know,
And they're like,
in the
they're
long
the
run-
it company, so they have an incredible network.
Okay.
So they have the network already established too.
right,
So they're called Community Paradigm LLC, so if you wanna look them up.
yep.
Pretty impressive website.
Thank you.
You know, it's like,
They're
a-
headhunter.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
headhunter, but they specialize in certain aspects of that. Okay, so that was my discussion. Any more discussion?
None.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Had to ask.
Hey,
You should.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I make a motion to pass Article 4 on the special town warrant as written.
I second it.
Okay, and this is for parking lot repair for the fire department.
Which, as we said, does not meet the capital
Correct.
project limit threshold.
Yep. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I make a motion to pass Article 5 of the special town meeting as printed.
I second it.
Any discussion? This is, I believe someone left and it's contractual, they have to pay for it.
Yep.
Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I make a motion to pass Article 6 of the special town meeting as printed.
And I second it.
Okay, which we've talked about, the solid waste to add in an item. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Like Laura said, if it's not recyclable, don't recycle it, throw
Right.
it away.
When in doubt, throw it out.
That's right.
At this point.
That's what John said.
Yeah.
Okay, got one piece of paper done.
We should have just voted on the others, and it is what it is.
What others?
Can we vote on it in total? Like, what we talked
What?
about?
Oh, the
expenses?
big budget?
The budget summary. Yeah, the budget. All right, so this one,
You thought the library grid was confusing before, just look at it in Article 5.
yeah, that's
Why
why
does it have all of that in
I
it?
asked that, and I said, these aren't the good numbers, like where,
Why
so
does it have like crossouts in red?
I don't think it's,
Is it not ready for
showing
final distribution?
I don't, no, it's not, it's draft.
Right.
So we shouldn't vote on this if it's draft.
The whole thing.
That's
Because-
true. That's true.
Where does it say draft?
It's a watermark.
They should have a
Oh.
watermark on every page, though.
The other one said that too.
Oh, well,
Well, so we can at least digest it and come up with questions if there's any
watching the
questions.
Bruins.
Yeah.
Well, if it didn't, we can bring it home. We have it on
I need a
paper.
beer.
You can bring it home and digest it.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's a very good recommendation. Bringing it home.
Okay.
I would just say that these should all say draft on every page. I don't.
Well, you can talk
No,
to
I know, I just.
the department who
That's,
created.
From an
You like,
auditing
just a
perspective.
little.
From an auditing
Right.
perspective.
These should all say draft.
Oh,
Be like, fun fact.
so Rebecca's in trouble.
No.
Tomorrow can be like
Probably
Fun
how
Fact
they
Friday.
always
and
Yeah,
you're like,
you'd be
hey.
like, oh, hey, Rebecca.
So-
Yeah, because I don't think you should have reds on here, especially for the,
Yeah.
you know, and then these,
No
the
red,
first
no
ones,
strikeouts.
the first ones are just standard anyway. I mean, numbers are different, so.
Take them home, digest them, email.
So we have to do, we need to do,
Oh, it's on Facebook now, you don't have to.
Article 3, Article 4, 5,
Oh, should we highlight them?
Oh,
yep.
Hold on.
Highlight, I mean, circle.
3,
Okay, a minute.
4, 5.
And then 6,
7.
yes, these are ones that have to be done every year. However, I thought that they were gonna do something on this so that they didn't have to. Oh, no, this is different.
This is different. I actually started to have a question on this one, but
On what, 7?
yeah.
Yeah, these are just their revolving funds.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Did we?
Wonder what, we've never had that before.
We
That's,
never have voted on.
that's why
revol-
I was kind of,
No, we had,
It's like your Bible.
I know, I have my,
I know.
John Margie told me to always have my book with me.
I have it,
The
it's
back
just
seat of my
eaten by
car.
the dog.
That's a lot of stuff just fell out, and I was like,
I just don't remember ever.
No.
I'm investing in like an iPad or something.
It was after the voting of, here it is. Yeah, we did last year, right here, yep, Article 7 last year.
How about then?
It's the same. You have to, because they have limits that they can only
Okay.
spend to.
See, I had post-traumatic stress disorder by the time we got to that one.
Yes. It was
But we have to vote on that one, right?
7, yes.
8 and 9, I don't think.
8, no.
9's the bus contract.
9's a bus contract, which we mentioned tonight too, just as an FYI. We never had to vote on that before. I mean, as a town, the school
And Rocco actually said that we should be voting
on
to
contract,
ratify.
ratify contracts.
Contracts.
Oh,
But
I think it's,
he said it was like a state law,
Oh, wow.
but
Interesting.
I don't know.
I
think
don't
there'll be
know.
some
I
law stuff
think
going
the school
forward.
committee signs it
Under,
and
I would have thought
it's
it'd fall
theirs.
under them. Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't-
because
Anyway,
you learn something
so
new.
that's what we got.
But we don't think we have to vote on it.
No, not we,
Oh,
but as
no.
townspeople, yes, but as finance committee, no. Totally separate.
Even though it does have a financial implication.
But
We don't
it's
have
not,
It's not listing it here,
Yeah.
yeah.
Information.
we're not, yeah, no, just
Yeah.
no.
I mean, it's in the budget and we're voting it on the budget, so.
Right.
for 1 year.
We don't usually vote these, oh yeah, we do vote the bonds.
The bond one, 10.
Yeah. Does that number look familiar?
One
Oh,
general obligation municipal
That
purpose loan.
seems, I don't have that sheet with me, but
I do.
March
But
1st.
I don't,
what one are you looking at?
11?
I was looking at 10.
I was looking at
I
10.
got, okay, I'm on 11.
You what?
She's moved on to 11.
Oh, I remember, okay.
So what is this thing?
Request of the petition, this is the petition article for the school budget. 11.
How can that be put on?
All they had to do was get the signatures and it goes on the warrant.
Is it legal?
No. Well,
It,
the town went out and did their due diligence, and I'm sure that will be
all
read
right,
at
so
this
we don't
part
have
of
to
it.
worry about
Nope,
11.
we don't worry about 12. 11, I mean. We would have to worry about 10, though.
I'll double check the number, but I think
I think I have that. Did you go through my stuff here?
Honestly,
I didn't.
Oh, well,
So you guys will let us know if 10's correct?
Yeah, I'll double check it.
yeah,
I just need to fire up my computer, but I don't feel like connecting to
no.
a hotspot.
That's funny. Okay. 12.
Is this 12 that legislation that died in the House that we have to start again? That, oh, I was watching, I'm like,
12 for recall position.
the recall petition, that,
Of
they
the
were
town?
talking about this at the selectmen's meeting the other night. This is the one that years, like, I don't even know how many years ago, like maybe 5 years ago, it was petitioned to put in, and it went to the House, I don't know where it went, and it basically
Oh,
just
yeah,
died.
the recall.
The-
Yep.
Yeah, and it
Yep.
died, so now we have to like start it up
Try that
again
Okay,
to get it back in and get it active again.
I remember that.
But we don't have to vote on it.
No.
No.
We as townspeople do, but
Well, yeah,
But as
you
a
can vote however you want.
Right.
13, yes. 14, yes. These are all free cash things.
15, 16.
Valuable data?
17,
Dean. Sped reserve fund. Article 4. Oh my God.
16's the voting booths. Is that the computers?
No, this is actual voting booths. It didn't, and now they,
Are we getting new or more?
new,
New.
Like the same type, or are they?
No.
no. Upgraded models.
Are you talking about 15?
16.
And
16,
that went to capital, but it wasn't, didn't meet, or did it go to capital?
It did, but it
It
didn't
did,
meet
but
the
it wasn't the
threshold.
threshold.
Correct.
Okay.
So it has to come out of free cash?
Yep.
So they'll be much sturdier, and they'll be 4 to a thing. Like it will be those crisscross kind of things,
Okay.
and instead of the ones where you go up to now and they fall over.
Oh, I remember the picture.
Yeah, it's like a-
Issues, so I'm
I didn't
just
either,
sitting
but I'm
quiet.
just
Why
saying.
do we need new booths?
At
But
least someone
if
was a
that's-
victim.
Yes, that's fine.
Liability.
As long as I have the nice pen with like the marker tip, I'm happy.
17, yes.
Velcroed to the desk.
Capital is gonna read these, right? They're the
Glenn
ones,
will read
Glenn
all
will
these,
do that, yeah.
correct.
But we have to still vote on
We
it.
vote,
We vote
but
to
we
recommend
don't
them.
read, it's
Right.
just.
I can see we're
Freeze.
concerned now.
Dan, you
Do
must
it,
be really
Dan.
worried about that. Okay, free cash. Yeah, these were all approved, so I mean,
Practice your speaking
Like,
voice.
So these are all
18, 19, 20,
Quite the- yep.
yeah,
21.
21,
all of them, yeah.
22.
Through
What
to-
is this total
23,
for, do
through
we have a
32.
total free cash
We
number?
Do we usually vote on this, like all this?
I know they always ask Glenn if the
Yeah.
capital committee recommends, but I
Right.
don't remember if
They ask me,
Yeah.
too.
What'd you say capital was?
They ask
How
both,
much? The threshold?
20.
20.
Well, the cruiser, that's
That's,
Which one are you on?
24.
Oh, the minimum's
the
20.
minimum,
Right, so is
that's
this,
46.
yeah, so it's not going through capital?
Oh, these are all capital.
Also,
They're all
so they're all
capital.
capital requested then.
Okay.
And then you
capital
bond the
request
total, which is
There's
the
only a certain
1.6.
amount that's bonded,
Okay, so
correct.
Right.
So
that's
anything
paid
that
from
could have been
free
paid
cash.
through
Okay.
free cash.
They were doing.
But the
Okay.
capital committee still votes on it.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
So even though they all say they're coming out of free cash,
They are coming.
Their
out.
capital.
They're coming out of free
But
cash.
they're capital projects. Okay.
I hear the peepers.
Right, because if you look at like Article 28,
yeah.
Then you start.
this is
bonding.
not, this is being bonded.
Right.
So it's not coming from free cash. So we tried to take as many from free cash as possible, the lower dollar value ones.
Right.
Okay.
There's a lot.
This is more than what's on
Wasn't
that
the middle
list.
school, there was something at the middle school that was.
It's really not.
It's that it was
It
secure.
looks like it, but
I guess.
Right, with the
Maybe
what?
because it's taken over so many pages
I
versus
think, yeah,
the other one's just
Remember
one.
the amount, was it 20,000?
Server.
For the security one?
Yeah, at the,
At the middle school.
Here's-
I'll go through and match them back up too.
Yeah, if you could do that, that would be great. So industrial to residence, where's this? Oh, wait a minute.
From industrial to resident? That's
Yeah, so here's
interesting.
my question. Is that,
What number are you on?
Wait a minute,
33 already?
33,
we don't have to vote for it.
Highland. Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
that's all out behind. I thought there was already, houses out here. Going in off of Grove Street.
Wait a minute.
Oh gosh, moving on.
Isn't,
We don't do zoning.
that's out behind Compass, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, Highland Elm, yeah.
Wait a
No,
minute, the
it's
solar?
not.
Yeah, it is, because Grove.
Yep.
Okay, doesn't matter, we don't have to vote on it, let's not worry about it tonight, I'll go home and look.
It's not out behind Compass, it's out behind,
Foxborough.
Elm, yeah.
It was 20,000 for security
But then
purposes.
Foxborough and Compass
Compass
right
would be
next, right
there
next to
too.
it. They're side by side.
Oh, yeah.
If you were taking the bus,
And I don't know
that's
if it's the
really
red line going this way or the red line going this
I
way.
get there early enough, when,
You got a really slow one.
Anyway,
say no
doesn't
more, I
matter, we'll go
I
home
get
and look
dropped
at it.
off.
That's right.
Oh, there's red
Mary.
on this, yeah, there's highlights and reds everywhere.
Yeah, okay, there we go, so.
We don't have to do that.
Should be done. The money, this should all be just zoning at the end and, yeah, zoning bylaws. Yeah, zoning, it's all yellows in here, though.
I know, there's like definitely still some draft stuff.
All right.
Do you guys mind if?
Yes.
Too bad. The minutes that we were going to vote on last week,
Oh,
we
right,
couldn't.
because
We didn't have enough.
Crystal wasn't here
That's
to be
Crystal.
the deciding vote because on one day
Dan was out.
Dan was out,
days
and then
I was
2
out.
days Melanie was out, so
We didn't have a.
we didn't have a quorum for each of the votes.
And here we are.
What's the quorum for town meeting?
150
Has it ever been close?
Oh, yeah.
every
It must
town
be,
meeting?
right? Okay.
Every town meeting?
Well, the only one.
One town meeting, they went out to,
That
into the
was
gym,
last
it was
year.
like, they were like grabbing people out of the gym and.
Yeah.
Do you have to be 18 or older?
You have to be a
registered?
registered voter.
We
Yeah.
have to be a registered voter. They frown upon if you're not.
Okay. So,
It's casting,
let's
whatever
try
you
this
feel
again.
like.
Fraud or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's try
We're
this
against the
again.
law.
See if I can stay organized. Okay, so the first one we're gonna do, Dan was absent at,
That was March
March
19th.
19th, so I'll.
How about me off the top of my head for that?
Can I do it?
I was, yes.
I can do it, right? I make a motion to accept the
Georgia.
minutes of March 19th
Actually, I don't even.
as written.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, with one abstain.
Yeah, with one abstain, so 4-0-1, okay. The next two, Melanie was absent, so I make
March
a
26th.
motion to accept the minutes of March 26th as written.
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I make a motion to accept the minutes of April 1st, 2019 as written.
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Thank you.
welcome.
Only 75 more to go. We might have to have a summer meeting just to finish up minutes. Yeah. I am by far the more
First year,
behind.
yeah.
You did, I think
did,
you brought them
yeah.
to Adria.
Yep. We had our drinks and we got to vote on meeting minutes. It was fantastic.
All right, so our next steps, I am not putting a meeting out there for next Tuesday night. We will see everyone Monday night. The meeting is now moved to 6:30,
6:30.
and it's a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen, Capital Committee, and department heads.
Oh, it's 6:30 now?
Yes,
I
it's
thought they
been,
were all posted originally for 6, weren't they?
they were posted for 6, but I got an email today that the meeting is actually 6:30, because that's the Board of Selectmen meeting, is
Okay.
what the time slot we're using.
6:30.
Oh, we should have kept it 6.
Too late now.
Be a long meeting.
It's gonna be long, yeah.
No, I don't think so.
You know?
No.
Okay. And then if we meet if we are.
No,
meeting-
because they don't vote. No, it's gonna be fine. It'll be fine.
And then if we do meet the week before town meeting, is everyone okay meeting like Wednesday or Thursday?
What are the
instead of
dates?
Tuesday? The
Well, why would we need to meet that close to town meeting? If we need to
We're
change.
technically done. Well,
If we, no, we haven't, well, if we need, if they
Well, we
come back
can't
and
if
we have to
it's
change anything,
draft.
it's gonna have to be done before the 14 days before
Right.
town meeting.
so that's the end of the month minus
Yeah.
4.
yeah, so.
And there's
we'll take
Memorial Day
that-
weekend,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We'll-
that
we'll
week
be
we
okay.
wouldn't need to, because that's June 2nd through 8th.
so we have till that Friday.
So we
If
have
the worst comes to worst, we
till,
meet that Wednesday, Thursday, and be done.
Right.
like the 29th or 30th, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Preferably Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think at this point.
Yeah, I'm camping that week, so Thursday will be a little busy.
You'll
We'll
be
come
out.
down-
You won't be
No,
there
I'll be
Thursday?
here. No,
Oh.
I'll be
We'll
here.
visit her at the campsite.
Ooh,
Right, Zach?
camping.
I'll be-
Zach, can you travel to the campsite? We- Don't-
Field trip.
No, I'll just be packing, that's it. You guys can totally come help, though.
All right, so that's it. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
All right, meeting adjourned. 7:13. I mean, no,
Who made that motion?
8:13.
Who made the motion?
I did.
And who seconded?
All those in favor?
Oh,
Aye.
aye.
Who seconded?
Dan.
Dan.
Dan?
Sorry.